Hi, I'm Roger Mashad. At Franklin Templeton Investments, we believe that citizens need to be informed about the resources that can help make higher education more affordable. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Making a difference, the ripple effect. Next on Caucus New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the heart of academic medicine, the Russell Berrie Foundation, Fedway Associates, Cohn Resnick, providing accounting, tax, and advisory services for more than 90 years, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey.
Welcome to Caucus New Jersey. I'm Steve Adubato. The Russ Berrie Awards for Making a Difference celebrate New Jersey's unsung heroes. The winners are everyday people whose extraordinary volunteer efforts have changed the lives of others. Joining us here in the studio to discuss what it really takes to make a difference are Dana Katzman-Spett, who is Executive Director, Pony Powers Therapy, Eric Fuchs-Stengel, Founder and Executive Director, Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization, Angelica Berry, President of the Russell Berrie Foundation, and finally, Claire Insalata Poulos, who is the President of Table to Table. I want to thank you all for joining us to this very important program. Angelica, set the context for us. The Russ Berrie Awards for Making a Difference been around for how many years?
At least 17 years.
We're going into the 17th year as we do this. Created, why? And who are these people?
Well, Russ believed in everyday heroes, and he always said that it wasn't the bad news that was in media that he wanted to see. He wanted to hear the good news of what people on the ground were doing, and I think it was a culture change that he wanted to see, and he wanted to do it in New Jersey where the community mattered to him.
Yeah. Your late husband, Russ Berrie, who brought us all together to do this. I remember the first time we did this. It was extraordinary, and all of you have won one award or another in connection with that event. I would say well over, many hundreds of people have won that award over the years. Unsung heroes, people who make a difference. Describe your organization for folks.
The Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization is an environmental not-for-profit organization based in northern New Jersey. And we do volunteer work with high school and college students on the weekends to clean up trash, educate people about the importance of organic farming and sustainable agriculture, and to create a community in northern New Jersey that is sustainable and pretty much pass on a world that is better for our children and our grandchildren.
And you started it when?
I started when I was in high school, when I was 16 years old.
Were you a late bloomer?
Yeah.
And you started it why?
I started because I saw a need within northern New Jersey and within the state of New Jersey to address some of these sustainability challenges that the suburbs specifically faced, which is, you know, we drive cars everywhere, and people don't really have a strong connection to the environment or to our impacts on it. And the truth of the matter is our impacts on the environment will affect us in the future. So trying to bring these ideals to people's minds, and we've got a warm welcome since we started.
You know, it's interesting, each one of the organizations you'll see represented here are so different, but they're connected. You'll see that they're connected in many ways, and that is the whole concept of the ripple effect that we've talked about. So help us on this, Dana. Your organization, Pony Power Therapies, seems very different, but there actually is a connection. Go ahead.
So Pony Power Therapies started 14 years ago. We are an equine-assisted activity center, and we work with children and adults with special needs. We use the movement of the horse in the farm environment to affect positive change. We have 21 horses, 2 goats, 2 pigs, a couple of dogs, a couple of kids, and as of 2 years ago, a small organic farm that we actually had the help from Mahwah, Environmental Volunteer Organization, or MEVO, just to bring the whole full cycle of a farm.
Eric's organization.
Eric's organization, yes, onto our farm so that we are adding the whole farm component. We joke using our manure as well.
Back up. Did you meet Eric's organization through the Berrie Awards?
We did not. We met because we're both in Mahwah, but we were asked to discuss the ripple effect, if you will. We are a past recipient of the Russell Berrie Award, which basically transformed Pony Power at the time. I don't know if you realize, but it really had a tremendous impact on us.
What impact did it have?
Well, financial to start with, which is a big reality with all of our organizations. We didn't really know where our next penny was going to come, and we were building our foundation, if you will, of our farm, and it really came at a crucial time. So it allowed us to keep going and to realize our dreams and to continue to build our farm, where we're seeing anywhere between 120 and 170 clients a week, and just keep developing and responding to the community. And MEVO was one of the organizations that we felt really strongly about, that adding the farm component was important. So when you asked us to speak about the ripple effect, it was completely natural. It was the right thing to do.
It's natural.
It was natural.
Let's round it out. Your organization, Table to Table.
Yeah, Table to Table. We are a food rescue program.
A food rescue program?
Yeah,
Go
food
ahead.
rescue. Food rescue, we pick up food, fresh, perishable food that would otherwise be wasted from supermarkets and restaurants and corporate cafeterias and hospitals, and we bring it that same day to places where it's going to serve the hungry. We serve 4 counties, and Bergen, Hudson, Passaic, and Essex. We have refrigerated trucks that go out every morning. They're empty. They go out, they make their rounds, they pick up all the leftover food, and they deliver it that day, and at the end of the day, they come back and the trucks are empty, and people are eating that food that day or the next day. Eric, we were talking earlier, and there is an extraordinary amount of food that's being wasted, and what we try and do is rescue it and bring it to places where it's going to be eaten that night or the next day.
The impact?
Huge, huge. We're starting our 15th year, and this year we met our goal, which was to pick up and deliver enough food for 11 million meals. Next year we hope to increase that to 12 or 13, and it's we really haven't scratched the surface. There's still so much food that is being wasted simply because it's easier to throw it out. And there's so many, on the other side, there's so many places that still could use that food and are calling for help.
But you know what's interesting? One of the things about the Berrie Foundation I always find fascinating, every year when we do this event in the spring, it's fascinating when you bring all these organizations and individuals together, because there's this unofficial cohort, this collaboration, this brotherhood and sisterhood that comes together. Am I making too much of it?
No, it's really chemistry. You put them in the same room and something will happen. These 3 sat here waiting for you and something happened while we were sitting down here. Yes.
And they run different organizations.
Without you.
Neither one, in fact, Angelica and I happened not to be in the studio when the 3 of you are in here. We come in and they're talking about God knows what.
We have plans already. We have plans.
Is that the ripple effect?
I think it's a positive, unintended consequence. And these are things that we didn't intend when we created the program. We just thought we're giving awards to individual heroes who we could recognize and to be able to bring up their visibility in the community. What's happened instead is that each of them, because I think they're like-minded souls, they think of how they can maximize their relationship with the community. And you found him possibly on your own, but I think that just the luncheon after the awards, you can't imagine the connections that are made there and the relationships that are built and the willingness to help each other beyond money. And I think that we didn't realize it when we gave these awards, that we're investing in a network.
You're investing in a network.
And that network, when they act collectively, is what creates that transformational impact. And I think that it's not necessarily what's measurable, it's how you can create magic. And it's like cooking something, you just put in a little ingredient. You don't know, you put something else that you didn't think about, and out comes something.
Out comes something that would never happen if the ingredient were left on its own. And not that the ingredient isn't special on its own, but it could be so much more special. You know what's interesting as I think about this? That luncheon that we have, by the way, if you go on our website, put up the Caucus website, we did a full half hour after the Russ Berrie Awards this last time around. We did a full half hour. It was absolutely a great half hour where we interviewed many of the winners and some of the past winners who come back, some of the alums, which is really terrific. And that's a great event because you really see people interacting with each other, sharing information, trading business cards, which don't exist much anymore for people. They trade emails and text, cell phone information. And you know they're going to interact with each other. And here's the point I'm trying to get to. The idea that people collaborate together in nonprofits is fascinating because all of you are out there fighting for funding. All of you are out there looking for corporate money, foundation support. And so the question becomes, is it against the natural inclination for the head of a nonprofit, you're laughing already, to collaborate with the head of another nonprofit who in fact is out in the marketplace seeking funding from potentially the same sources? You say no. Because?
Because I think we were talking about this before the airing of the show.
You mean the meeting before we came in here?
The meeting, okay. the
pre-meeting.
That's right. Yes. The cooking class outside. Everyone has a niche. We have our mission. There's very little ego involved. We all joked we have to be out to go back to our programs today. We have our eye on the prize, if you will. We serve different populations. So as far as what corporations and other donors are looking for, is they're looking for someone who's going to either solve a problem or address an issue specifically. And I think this collaboration and these multi-levels of organizations working together is really what you are now seeing as your ripple effect is really the prize. That's good community. Is
fundraising, having to raise enough money to keep your organization afloat, more importantly, to serve the people you serve, is that your biggest challenge?
I would say yes, that's our biggest challenge.
Other than that, you've told our producers that your age is a challenge.
For sure.
How so?
Well, when I started the organization at 16, what I found was that a lot of people, when you approach them saying, oh, I run this charity, this not-for-profit, can you donate, can you support us, can you volunteer with us, they'll often look at me and go, well, you're 16, how are you actually going to really address this issue? And so for many years, sometimes even get it today, people look at me and say, well, you're so young, it just doesn't seem like you're actually going to pull through with your side of the bargain. So Dana's a really good example of this. You know, when I met Dana, I think I was 19, maybe 18. And she directly joined on with us. She said, I trust you guys, you're going to get the projects done that we want to do work with you. And we collaborated with her on a lot. And we've worked with many, many different not-for-profits, some through the Russ Berrie Foundation, some that we found on our own. And the interesting thing is the ones that have trust in us, and don't judge me based on my age, we really have a great collaboration with. But I've had many that have said, you know what, you guys are too young, and they actually haven't worked with us because of that. And it's like, I guess there's this fear of young people that like, all of us are somehow very, just kind of don't really commit to anything. But I find that is the opposite, you know.
What does it feel like to have someone who you meet, say through the Berrie Foundation, a not-for-profit, head of another not-for-profit who says, trust this guy, Eric's a good guy, more importantly, they do important work, I'll vouch for him. What does that feel like for you? That
is an amazing, amazing example. And we mentioned relationships, and that's what I know. I know what that is it's a strong relationship between you and another not-for-profit leader, which is, it's a friendship and it's a trust. Doesn't matter what age you are. And that, for me, tells me that my cause is really important and that these people believe in it just like I do.
Your reaction to that before I go to Claire?
Like I said, there's a credibility factor that comes from having won the award.
Definitely.
But more than that, there's also the passion connection. I think
connection?
I think that people find you credible if you can communicate. This is something that Steve has been teaching some of our past awardees, that how do you communicate not just your passion, but your credibility. And I think that communicating and projecting that confidence, I think, is what makes it possible for you to build that trust.
I want to make sure we talk about that, but one of the things I want to touch on is talk about challenges. We will go back to the fact that we actually, through the Russ Berrie Foundation, started a series of very hands-on, very challenging, is it fair to say? Definitely. Challenging workshops in which the leaders of the nonprofits, people who have won the award, participated with the Berrie Foundation, the awards, actually gain communication skills, presentation skills, fundraising skills, negotiation skills, the skills you need to lead nonprofits. Beginning of that effort, we'll talk about that in a second. You worked 12 years without pay.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to call that a challenge. I mean, that's, that's not a challenge, that's something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was, you know, well, as you're starting an organization, and you're watching every dime. And we wanted to make sure it succeeded. And we take the funding very seriously, very seriously. And it was tough to raise money, you know, enough. And, you know, there's always the challenge, too, trying to keep from growing too fast. Clearly, you said it. The hardest thing is bringing in the money. We have two challenges, really: bringing in enough food and then bringing in enough money to keep the trucks going. But yeah, that was very.
When you won the award, I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
Yeah, I know what the.
You want me not to ask?
No, you can. I'll tell you. We paid some bills with it. I mean, it was that's what we did. It was really lovely. And but you know, going back to what you were saying before, I always wish, ever since the award.
We should make it clear to folks. I'm sorry. The award is a cash award. It's a nice. I don't want people to think it's just a plaque. Not that there's anything wrong with just a plaque. It's a cash award. By the way, I'll come back to it. Why is it a cash award?
It's really not an award, it's a recognition. And I think that, you know, you have to reward winners. And not everybody defines winners in the nonprofit world the same way we did when we said it's about making a difference. And it's not necessarily making a difference with $1 million check, but it's making a difference in the lives of people.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, that award, I was going to say, I had never had the opportunity to meet Mr. Berrie. However, he was a marketing guy, and in my former life, I was a marketing person. And so many of the things that I read about that he said resonated with me. And I wanted our organization to operate that way as well. You know, the commitment to excellence and operating with integrity and all of running things really like a business. So,
excuse me, running your nonprofit
absolutely.
Like a business. Pretty good. For the Russ passed in
2002.
2002,
10 years ago.
and right at Christmas. We'll never forget that. And Russ was an extraordinary business executive, knew more about sales than anyone I ever knew, and about people and relationships. And he believed that nonprofits should be run like business in the best sense of the word. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Absolutely, and we started that even before knowing, you know, our connection. So then when we got the award, it was a validation of our work, and it was inspiring. And you know, we are like-minded people. We always say, look, we can take care of each other. We live in this community. We work here. This is our community. We're going to lock arms, and we're not going to depend on the government or, you know, the anybody else. This is where we live, and we will take care of each other. And I think Russ felt that way too, very strongly about success and you know, really making an impact where you live.
And it's a validation, Steve. I think that's the word. It's a validation, and it gives them credibility. So when the next donor meets you, they say, oh, someone already invested in you. And people like to invest in winners.
Yeah, let's stay on that. You know, we did spend some time actually at the Sales Institute, the Russ Berrie Sales Institute up at William Patterson University, right?
Yes.
And that's where we did our first seminar together with you and your colleagues, and we'll be bringing in others as we move forward. What's fascinating about this is you begin to realize that having a mission, having passion, having a really big heart, and caring a great deal, unfortunately, isn't nearly enough to run a successful nonprofit, correct?
So true, very true.
I know, I wish I could end the story and say, you know, you have passion, you care, you're a good person. It takes a lot more, doesn't it? And we're working on those other things. What's it like to have to deal with the fact that you have to be able to go in and effectively deal with someone who heads a corporation or a foundation and convince them to write a check, to manage your own budget more effectively, to let go of people who are not performing really well, and to run your nonprofit like a business, as you were saying, Russ wanted us to, because that's what you're supposed to do for the people you serve. Is that harder for you?
It's becoming less hard. It's becoming apparent that is the way to run your business. You're looking at sustainability. It's the only way. You don't want to have 14, 15 years of your hard work to end with you. So that's part of it, is really creating a legacy, and through that is running it as an effective, efficient business. So it's crucial. It's the only way to go forward.
And we see nonprofits falling by the wayside every day. Really good nonprofits. Now for you, I hate to say this, but as young as you are, sure. What is it like for you to be introduced to leadership, communication, business, fundraising, fiscal tools like this for you? Because sure. You didn't go into it for that.
No, right.
You went into it for the cause.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. You know, I'm a senior at New York University right now, 22 years old, and I'm a very different type of student there because I have, in essence, 5.5 years of career experience working for a not-for-profit. And when I first started the organization, you know, it was very basic level. We're just going to pick up trash. And now, you know, we're doing all these programming. We're really helping a lot of different communities, helping schools, helping other partner not-for-profits, and networking, building relationships, learning how to fundraise, learning how to acquire donations and apply for grants and write business plans. That all came to me right when I got out of high school, right? So in school, I'm able to provide another lens within discussion around these issues that a lot of kids don't have. And even within that light, I'm like the TA for the not-for-profit management. Teaching assistant for the not-for-profit management class at NYU, at the NYU Wagner School, because I have experience.
Talk about a ripple effect. That's an example of the ripple effect.
Right, and you should be surprised how many kids are there trying to learn how to run a not-for-profit, and I get up and I talk about my experiences with that. And again, it's interesting because it does tie directly with the reward, because, you know, receiving the award from you gave me a credibility, as you mentioned, and it helped us grow our impact and get a lot more people involved with us.
Didn't you win other awards after that award?
Yeah, we actually just won the New Jersey Governor's Environmental Excellence Award for Environmentalist of the Year. And you can bet that when I applied for that award, rather when I was actually nominated by my board, they were putting right there at the top of that nomination that we won the Russell Berrie Award for making a difference. And that's a statewide award for the work we do.
Which connects to the ability to raise money, because people see that you've been recognized in this way. Is that the ripple effect? Listen, it's not all about awards, but it's about what it represents.
Yeah, and you know, I think when you're trying to raise money and you're trying to have more visibility, people want to know not all the flowery stuff. They want to know what your results are.
Impact.
Show me, exactly. Show me what your actual results are. And right from the beginning, every year we have goals, new goals, higher challenges, more and more and more. And when you achieve those goals, and I'm proud to say every year, one way or another, we're meeting those goals. And I think it shows not only growth, but the continued commitment that we have, and the fact that, as Dana said, we want it to be a legacy.
Excuse me, in the next 3 years, the biggest thing your organization wants to achieve is?
In 3 years?
The next 3 years, the biggest thing you want to achieve is what?
Biggest thing in the next 3 years?
I'm putting you on the spot. We're doing a communications seminar right here. Biggest thing you want to achieve is what?
I'll tell you what it is. We'd love to double the number of people we serve.
Because the need is there.
Absolutely. We'll never scratch the surface, Steve.
20 seconds or less. The biggest thing you want to achieve in the next 3 years.
To fully realize the potential that the impact that horses could have on different populations. We're still identifying and responding to the needs of the community through horses.
You still feel there's greater impact that you can have?
Absolutely.
Because again, the need exists?
The need exists. People keep coming to us, new populations keep coming to us. Funding is starting to come our way for new populations. We feel like we've also scratched the surface of who can be positively affected through interaction with horses in the farm.
Yeah, so we have 2 projects that we want to accomplish.
We'll go with one right now.
The one main project we're doing is we're building an organic farm in partnership with the Bergen County Parks Department, someplace in Bergen County, which will be about 1 to 2 acres in size, this farm. And it's going to offer 6 days a week organic farming programs to school kids.
That's big. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about, Angelica?
Yeah, my goal would be to expand the network
To expand the network.
Expand the network and to be able to give them the visibility to be able to take another leap forward. And
Increase their visibility?
Yeah.
30 seconds left. What would that do for them?
I think that in order to connect more effectively, they need to communicate. And this is why we invested in a seminar for you to teach them how to do the elevator pitch, to be able to not lose the attention of a donor because you don't have the experience to be able to sell yourself in the few short seconds that you have.
And to be in public broadcasting, telling your story and doing important work you do. Thank you all very much. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. N13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the Russell Berrie Foundation, Fedway Associates, Cohn Resnick, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios. This program has been made possible in part by PSE&G.
The eyes of the world will be on us when tens of thousands of people descend upon New Jersey for the 2014 Special Olympics USA Games.
What this event will do is to place an absolute spotlight on that which makes New Jersey the greatest, and that is the human spirit.
The Games will change the perception people have of individuals with intellectual disabilities, bring an influx of investment to New Jersey, and create a culture of acceptance in our communities. PSE&G, proud to support the 2014 Special Olympics USA Games.